What's up, guys? How's everybody doing? I got Amir from the Sports Critic in the house. And Amir, thank you so much for joining me. We got Midwest Sports and Alex Sports. I look forward to I know Alex Sports will come on eventually, Midwest Sports. Tonight we got Amir, the Sports Critic, rocking the fresh new Giants hat. What's going on, man?
Yeah, man, I'm happy. Thank you for having me on the channel. I'm so happy to be here. I love talking football. I love talking with you. Last time we had a stream, it was amazing. This is the new Giants hat. Literally just got it. So, yep. Let's go. I'm ready to talk about whatever you want, Rover.
Got the fresh lid, and that's what it's all about. Too.
Everything.
Everything. Birthday boy just had a birthday yesterday. It's a good time. It's a good time to be Amir, the Sports Critic. And guess what, man? I mean, football is kind of coming back. It seems like, with this virus and everything, there's some great things on the horizon, but every time I have the Sports Critic on, or every time I have somebody on, I want them to talk about their channel. When did you kind of start watching my videos? What was your motivation to start your channel, the Sports Critic?
Okay, so I started YouTube in 2010 as the movie critic. A lot of people know that. And then later on, I was watching Entertainer and Bad Dog, a lot of their videos. They inspired me a lot to become Giants, to do videos about Giants. But then I also wanted to do something a little different where I did videos about all different sports, including baseball, basketball, football, everything. I saw your channel about a year ago, Rover, but I really got involved with it this year. And so this channel, the Sports Critic, has been around for 1 year, actually, a year and 2 months. So yeah, there we go.
And the Movie Critic, is that a separate YouTube channel?
That's a whole different channel that has to do with movies and nothing to do with sports. A lot of my subscribers know about it as well.
So is it past movies, or you're doing current stuff?
Yeah, no, it's mostly current movies, but at this point, it's gonna have to be more past related stuff, as you know, because of the COVID situation. Right. Open at all right now. So yeah.
So you got to start doing some TV as well, I think.
Yeah, TV, of course. Yeah, I've done some in the past. I did Game of Thrones when that was going on. So
we got Brandon Rogers here, Chris Senor, a lot of wonderful comments. You guys are really spectacular. You keep me going, keep me on this channel. Lalo Paz is a 49ers fan. Chris Senor is the Chargers fan. And Sports Critic, you're a big Giants guy, right? So you're born and raised in New York. And so when did you start watching Giants football?
In the 90s, actually. So I was born, if you really want, I was born like in 89. So I was watching with my father when I was pretty young. I would say 6, 7 years old. So that would have to be 95, 96. So I remember we had a bunch of different quarterbacks back then before we got to the whole Eli Manning era that most people are familiar with. What about you? When did you start watching?
Yeah. So and Brandon asked, are we going to go broad NFL? We'll certainly do that. I think like later on in the episode. Right now we're kind of introducing the Sports Critic. This is first time on here. I'd say that the first time I really watched the Giants, like I was 6 years old when they played the Ravens. So I kind of remember I was 6. So I kind of remember that Super Bowl and them getting beat really badly, but I didn't remember them beating the Vikings. And it must've been unbelievable with Kerry Collins that the Giants made the Super Bowl because Jim Fossil, even when I got older, like in the early 2000s, I just was not a fan of
Jim
that.
Fossil. I didn't like him as a coach either. No.
Yeah, but how about the guys like Ike Hilliard and Jesse Armstead and Seymour and those guys? That 2000 team.
Yeah, that was a good team. I was really surprised that we went to the Super Bowl that year. I didn't think that we were that great of a team. I know we were a playoff team, but we got to Super Bowl. I was so excited, and then we were let down because Baltimore just killed us. Kerry Collins couldn't do anything. His offense was completely. The Giants' offense was completely terrible. Against the Ravens.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, the Giants then they went through a downward spiral, and I mean, you stayed loyal to the Giants throughout. I mean, do you have people in your family that are Jets fans?
Yeah, I have my brother is a Jets fan. He lives in New York, and we all live in New York. My father and me are Giants, but my brother is Jets.
Okay. Mom is on the fence.
Yeah, I guess she just supports both or whatever.
I love the tradition of the New York Giants, and I'm sure you feel authority over your brother. You know, like it's Giants Stadium. They're kind of coming to our house. You know what I mean?
We always make fun of him for being a Jets fan. I always told him he chose the wrong team.
Yeah, the odd child, and he's gone for some miserable times. I mean, at least with Chad Pennington, he had a couple of good seasons, right? Herm Edwards was a really
Curtis Martin. They had some good players, but it's just they never were able to do much.
I think that they hate us, and we just don't really hate them. Chris the Entertainer's the same as me. He doesn't really hate the New York Jets.
I don't hate the Jets at all. Yeah.
No. Sam Darnold, you know, I get some thumbs down in your videos for I just don't like his arm strength, you know. It was one of these things on YouTube with me and Sam Darnold.
Yeah. No, I mean that you have the right to make that opinion. Sam Darnold hasn't done anything to prove you wrong, Grover, yet, you know. Lot of people,
right.
He's super talented, but he hasn't done it. He hasn't shown it yet, you know.
How talented do you think Daniel Jones is? What are your expectations for this Giants offense? Do you think that this will be explosive at all? How many points a game? How do you look at this Giants offense?
I think this Giants offense is changing. I think it's trying to go back to the old days where they ran the ball more, and they're going to try to work more on their defensive side. I think they're going to get Saquon more involved, Deion Lewis. They should get Evan Ingram involved. I think that we're going to more of the old school football. I don't think we're going to be throwing too much, like overthrowing like we did with Pat Shurmur. Because if you remember, we had Saquon last year when he was healthy, and we would have the lead when we were running the ball with Saquon, and then we would go away from that. And I was so pissed because I remember calling a lot of games where I was excited. Even week one when we were playing the Cowboys, we had the lead 7-0 right away. We scored. We looked like we were going to go and have a competitive game with Dallas, you know? So I think that this team is going to be completely different. We got a new head coach. We got new offensive coordinator. We got like a whole new coaching staff. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if it's going to be explosive, but I think it's going to be much better than last year.
I'm thoroughly so excited about the Giants this year, too, man. Actually, every single year, it's been fun with the Giants, like before the season. Because last season, you know, because Amir, we were watching, and, you know, I'm a huge Eli Manning fan. I love Eli. You probably do as well.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
The lasting memory of Eli Manning was the year before. See if you can remember this. It's Dak Prescott hitting a 4th and 15. The Cowboys don't even need the game. Cole Beasley touchdown. Cowboys come back.
Yes.
And God. Eli throws an incompletion, and I'm like, I don't want him to go out this way. I just didn't. I just did not. So the fact that he came back and that Dallas game, I was locked in. I was ready to rock, you know. I was so excited for that Cowboys game. We go out, we have a wonderful drive like you talk about. The defense, when you know what happened when that guy, the white tight end for the Cowboys, what's his name? Swain, I think maybe it's Swain.
Something, Swain. Yeah.
Remember when he just caught a 30-yard touchdown over the middle? And then I'm like, this is the worst. It was one of the worst defensive performances I've ever seen. And it dampened any hope in the season, that Cowboys game last year.
Yeah, I mean, Giants couldn't cover the tight ends. It's always been something. Have you realized that Jason Witten always scores the touchdowns, even last year against the Giants? It's like, doesn't matter. We cannot cover the Dallas tight ends whatsoever. I don't know why. I don't know what.
Or Zach Ertz.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Zach Ertz is at least like, you know, he's at least like one of the better tight ends. But Witten, come on, the guy's a dinosaur, and he's scoring touchdowns on us all the time. Like, what the hell's going on?
I would say, the Bills game, we had one of the best drives of the season was that first drive against the Bills again. Remember Saquon Barkley running it down the throat. Will Hernandez had an unbelievable drive with Kevin Zeitler. I was like, this could be a team. And just the defense was so awful. You know what, Amir? Like, we were 2-2, but after the Vikings game, that game, it might have been like 24-14. Kirk Cousins could have thrown for 600 yards. After that game last year, I was completely like fire Shurmur. Even at 2-3, I said, that's it after the Vikings game.
I was with you, actually, Rover. I was calling for him to be fired a long time ago before he actually did. I don't know why we kept him on. I guess it was just to, they were like, at the end of the season, we're definitely getting rid of this guy just as a courtesy because who are we going to get as a replacement? But yeah, I wanted him gone right away because I saw a lot of stuff. I didn't like his play calling, and I don't like how he, didn't run the ball. Like I said, we have one of the best running backs, and we're never running. It makes no sense, and we're putting a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones. And then our offensive line also last year was just terrible. That's why I'm looking forward to this year because we drafted Andrew Thomas. We drafted another offensive tackle in the 3rd round. So I think that, our offensive line is still not 100% better, but it's getting better. It's improving. And I want to see what Daniel Jones does with that.
Yeah, a couple of great subscribers coming in. Harrison Jolly, Harrison, Bradley Moore, and Big Blue Jabroni in the house. Blue. So you know what? I'm going to be completely honest with you here, and I usually try to be very honest on YouTube and the show.
Yeah,
I wanted that Cowboys Monday night game. I didn't feel any pain when we lost the game because I just wanted Shermer gone. I mean that sincerely.
Yeah, and I can't blame you for that because
and I had no problem like the Lions game. It's just what happened. The Giants did all that work just to lose. I mean, last year the Giants were just experts at losing. Like even the Lions game, they had a couple big plays, but when your defense gives up all those plays, and I still thought Darius Slayton made some plays with Daniel Jones. I think Jones is going to be a fine quarterback.
Yeah, I think so too.
I'm really excited about Patrick Graham, the versatility, the patience the Giants are going to have. And the coolest thing, Sports Critic, I love late in games when football teams can run the ball, stall the clock out, and win. I think that's the mark of a really good team. And I'm hoping the Giants can do that this year.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. I wanted Shermer gone. I was so happy. Actually, when the season ended, I was still like, wait, why isn't he fired automatically? Usually they fire the coach like that Monday. And he was still the coach. And I made a video that a joke, but it was kind of true at the same time where I said, I can't sleep with Shermer as the head coach. We need to get rid of this guy. We need an innovator. We need somebody new. We need some changes.
How quick did you warm up to Joe Judge?
I was not a fan right away because I didn't know who he was. Then I looked more into his backstory, and then I started liking him more and more.
I was in from the second they said that.
Oh, okay.
I knew about Judge since he was 18 years old.
I knew he was New England, part of New England's coaching staff.
Yeah,
but I didn't know that he was in Alabama. And I'm saying, I looked more deeper, and then that's when I started liking him more. And then his press conference, I really liked how he was talking and stuff. I just hope he has a good game plan. We execute it well. I'm really hoping he's going to be good, and I think he will be.
Firm, and this is kind of a risky hire. I like the Matt Rule. I wanted Matt Rule. I was kidding. I had no idea about Joe Judge.
Matt Rule was the guy I wanted.
But McCarthy is kind of uninspiring as well.
Oh, yeah, he's not inspiring. No. But I would have been okay with Mike McCarthy. I mean, it would have been I wouldn't want him. The guy I wanted was the guy you said, Matt Rule was my first choice. Mike McCarthy was probably my second, and Ron Rivera was probably my third, but
it was a big Matt Rule and then a drop to McCarthy.
That's how it was for me. I wanted Matt Rule so badly, and then I think we would have had him had we paid him more money, but Carolina paid him, and then he just stayed there because he said that I think he was deciding between the money and that's where he would go.
Yep. Brandon said Robert Saleh, Kevin Stefanski. I think that Stefanski is all right. I think Saleh has potential.
Mm-hmm.
And then Alex asked a really good question about Saquon Barkley. How many TDs this season for Saquon Barkley?
TDs are the hardest thing to predict because there's a lot of things that can go into that kind of thing, right? Yards for me are a little bit easier because I think he's going to get some receiving touchdowns, and I think he's going to get some passing touchdowns. If I had to put a number, I think he should bounce back because last year he was injured, right? I think he should have more this year, though.
I think that Barkley should get 11, maybe I think 11 or 12 would be great.
Mm-hmm. That would be great. Yeah. I mean,
So Saquon, if he stays healthy, even if the Giants go 6-10, my expectation for Barkley is top 5 in MVP voting this year.
That would be great. The only problem is that the league doesn't value the running back as much. So it'd be very hard for him. But I think he could get in the top 5 MVP. I don't think he'll be number 1 or anything. But he could.
You have Zeke, you have McCaffrey, you're going to have Mahomes and Watts, or you're going to have Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. You're going to have a quarterback. You're going to have quarterbacks in there. But Saquon's like never really stayed healthy.
No.
And I want Saquon to just have one of these breakout, unbelievable, healthy seasons. That would, even if the Giants lose games, Saquon's such a good kid, so much hype with Saquon Barkley. Let's just see Saquon dominate for an entire season. How about that?
I agree with you, and that's why I said that I'm very happy that they got this offensive line, because a lot of these offensive linemen are good run blockers as well, and I hope that they run Saquon more, and then they can work off the play action whenever they need to,
absolutely, and pound Saquon Barkley as well.
Exactly, yes. We need to run him a lot.
Guess what? Even if he fails, and that's the thing about Barkley, you could criticize him for like not being as decisive, too much dancing in the backfield. But Saquon, he's a guy that if he's gonna hit a home run eventually. You know what I mean? You just got to give him the reps.
Right. Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. I said you have to run Saquon 20 times a game. You just have to. Because he can break one, Rover. Like, if you keep giving it to him, eventually he breaks one and you get a touchdown. And if you remember, there were a lot of games where we started 7-0. Why? Because we gave him the ball most of the plays.
Mm-hmm.
It also takes pressure off of Daniel Jones, which is great.
And if they're stacking the box, still run Saquon Barkley. The guy is in the prime of his career. Running backs are not around forever. They can always get injured. Yes. And Saquon's been a guy, I mean, he's sacrificed with the Giants. He's been through some really tough times with this organization. So to see him get rewarded would be fantastic. The defense. I think the draft was a very good draft. Yeah. Like, you got all these linebackers. Safety. The pass rush is still there. What do you think about the linebackers? Are you excited about some of these draft picks?
Yeah. The most I'm excited for is McKinney. We got him in the 2nd round, safety out from Alabama. He's a first round talent. He was supposed to go in the 1st round, but I just feel like this draft was so deep with so many good players, and that's how he slipped to the 2nd round. He's the guy I am most excited for on the defensive side for us, because I think he could be a great safety for us. Who was the person you were more excited about?
Yeah. So here, 1 second. So the guy that I was really excited about. You have Carter Coughlin, as Brandon said. He was our 7th round pick. Yeah, I'll tell you, actually, the one that really got me excited. I really think that Matt Pert, I know we're not going defense, but Pert,
okay, in the 3rd round,
Pert was a guy I had no clue about, but you've heard him interviewed. Matt Pert. He is very fast, okay? Yeah. He's very athletic for his size. And if you hit on Matt Pert, you're now going to have Andrew Thomas and Matt Pert. He's the most important player in this draft, that 3rd pick in the draft, Matt Pert. So Matt is going to have a huge responsibility. He's also from New York, which I really like, and he loves he grew up a Giants fan. So that just buys points with me. I would say that the Darnay Holmes pick, I like Darnay Holmes, but that was a weird pick as a quarterback.
Yeah.
He's a nickel corner. He's going to be pretty good, but you're never going to get like you're never going to, I don't know. It's not like you're going to get super, super excited. Actually, Shane Lemieux is another guy that I did not hear about, but I think Lemieux is a really, really good pick. And then Cameron Brown from Penn State.
Yeah,
he is he. Let's see if you can get anything out of him, because he has some talent as well.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, we had a really good draft, and I really like the Pert one too. For like when I was talking about offensive line, he's a developmental project, but I think he could be good for us in a year or two.
Let's talk about the schedule here. So the Giants, they end up going to Chicago. They're going to have the game against the Steelers to start the season. How do you think the Giants are going to start off the season?
I think for the Giants to do well, they got to start off at least 1-1. Between those two games that you mentioned, the Pittsburgh game is going to be tough. The reason is because Pittsburgh has a really good defense, and I wonder how the only way it's not that tough is Big Ben. If he has fallen off and he's not the same quarterback because he hasn't played in a while, we haven't seen it from him. I projected us to lose this game, but I think it's going to be very close. Now, Chicago, I think we can beat also. Between one of these two games, though, we have to win. We cannot go 0-2 because if you go 0-2, it is very hard to be a playoff contender. I don't think we're a playoff contender, but I'm just saying in general.
The year they won the Super Bowl, they were 0-2.
I know. It does happen, but it's a rare case, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and the 49ers coming in to the Giants. Now it is a 1:00 game, and they're flying here, so it's not like the 49ers are going to always play great. And even when they played Washington in the rain, they barely beat Washington. Yes. It's a weird year, with training camp. Who knows what's going on with training camp? Early in the season is also super weird. I like teams just beat teams for no reason. Mm-hmm. I like the Steelers at home better than the Bears for some reason. Oh, okay. I don't know. Going to Soldier Field is just a tough place to play, and the Steelers, I think it'll be. Their defense will be unbelievable, but it'll be a low-scoring game. I don't think we're getting blown out at home by the Pittsburgh
I think it's
Steelers.
Close. Yeah, I think it's close.
And September's just like my favorite time of the year, Amir. It really is, of all of football. Don't you love the NFL?
Yeah, man, it is. It's my favorite time. I also do a lot of fantasy football, so I love that as well. I love watching football. I call a lot of football games on my channel, so that's great too. Last year I called a lot of Giants games. But it was hard to watch because, it sucks when your team is terrible. You know what I mean? So I'm really hoping that I'm hoping that we're at least 500.
So you were doing play-by-play?
Yeah, I did a bunch of play-by-play.
A bunch of play-by-play. Yeah. Can you give us a little play-by-play?
How? Based on what? I need to see something.
Daniel Jones throws touchdown. Daniel Jones touchdown from 10 yards.
You know what was the craziest moment in my play-by-play was Daniel Jones' first game. Because Matt Gay was lined up and he was ready to kick it. And you think it's going in because it's a 30-yard kick or really small. I can't remember. It's a really short kick. And he misses it. And my reaction is like, yes, because it's Daniel Jones' first game and he gets the win. That's what you always want. It's a great boost.
It would have been so depressing to lose because he scored a touchdown.
The way that we should have won that game anyway, but it was because of our defense. Because Mike Evans just was wide open pretty much, and he got there and he led them there, and I was so pissed because I was like, I thought we were gonna win because Daniel Jones played incredible that game. He had 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing, 2 passing, and it was amazing.
The debut was amazing and running down the field, and you look at DJ last year, he played all right against the Redskins. He had a couple of turnovers. Then I think it was Minnesota. New England was just that was horrible weather. I think that was just rough. Arizona again, you know what I mean? Just some rough weather games. And Daniel, he did all right. He didn't set the world on fire, but he definitely held his own. And it wasn't like the Bucs every single week. But Marcus Golden was also great in that Bucs game. The defense actually stepped up in that game, and that was by far the most fun. That was by far the most fun game of the season. So do you watch college or just NFL?
I watch both, but to be honest, I watch way more NFL than college. But this year, I've made it a point to watch more college. I just really want to get into college because I see all these recruits, and then I'm like, okay, now I can know when the draft is coming. This is the guy that I want, I watched a lot of highlights of players this year to just be informed. Okay, McKinney, this guy and that. But I want to know in game, not just highlights. In game when I'm watching it. Oh, how good is let's say Tua was or somebody back then, because a lot of people can make assessments.
Bradley's a big Alabama fan.
Yeah, I just said Tua too, so there you go, Brad.
The SEC is awesome. Yeah. Just the passion of college. I love the passion of college football, the coaching. So I like the sport in itself, not only for the draft.
Is LSU your favorite team, or is that just...
I'm rocking the LSU shirt. It's like a basketball LSU shirt.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I would say it's tough. I like personalities. I like PJ Fleck, Minnesota, Mike Leach of Mississippi State.
Oh, Leach is a good coach. Yeah.
Leach is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like programs that are somewhat down and trying to come back, like Arkansas, they're down, they're trying to come back. So the underdogs, and I mostly watch, to tell you the truth, for the fun. Lane Kiffin going to Ole Miss. If there's a great quarterback out there, I'm definitely going to watch and be interested. But I know the rivalries. I know how much it means. And I just love watching it. And now we got a Missouri fan, PJ Fleck in Minnesota. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're now I'm going to open it up a lot to the audience. We'll ask some questions here. We got the sports critic joining me. Expectations, Brandon wants to know, for the Cleveland Browns, Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski.
Oh, man. Okay, so I want to talk about the Cleveland Browns. Last year, I had them going to the playoffs, actually. I thought they were going to be a lot better. I did not think Freddie Kitchens was going to be that bad, but he turned out to be horrible. Really bad that he got fired so quickly. And the reason why I thought he might work is because he worked with Baker, but I guess that doesn't work all the time. We're going to see what Kevin Stefanski can do, but I'm not believing in the Browns till I see it, Rover. I just can't. Every year I feel so pumped up for this team, and then they let me down.
I love the Pittsburgh Steelers in this division.
Okay.
Because I look at the Ravens, and I think that in this league, Lamar Jackson will be stopped. I think that this style will not last. He's an unbelievable player. He's proven me wrong, because I was a guy like Lamar Jackson. I honestly didn't have him in the first round, and it had nothing to, I never said he should switch positions or anything, but I just questioned his throwing ability, and he was great. He was unbelievable last year. But I look at the Steelers defense, Mike Tomlin, Ben Roethlisberger coming back, and I agree. And for Baker Mayfield now, the expectation of Beckham and Jarvis Landry and all these people, way too much last year. Now the expectation is a little bit lower. You have Nick Chubb, who's really, really good. They had a nice draft, but it's a rookie head coach in a tough division.
Tough.
I would be so surprised. If they made if they won the division. Now,
I don't have that either.
There's 7 teams going to be in the playoffs.
They could be one of those. I definitely see that.
So someone says Joe Burrow is going to be trash. Joe Burrow, a big blue jabroni.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What I think about Joe Burrow being trash?
Yes.
I mean, it is hard to say, because he had such a great Joe Burrow. Okay, see, this is the thing. It's how I've been watching a lot of college last year, right? So I know last year he had an amazing year, but I looked at his statistics the year before. It wasn't that great. But then he got a coordinator that worked with him well, and he did well. That's going to be key in Cincinnati. And he's got the weapons in Cincinnati to succeed. I don't think he's going to be trash, but I don't think he's going to be amazing his first year. But you always got to give these guys time. Rookie quarterbacks, I give them at least 2-3 years to find out how they really are. But I think he'll be good. I don't know if he'll be amazing.
I think there's a potential he could be awful, actually.
Yeah, there is, of course.
Because he's slow. He has weak arm strength, very weak arm strength. And before this year, he was not even on draft boards at all.
He was actually, I was watching something about Kuiper say he was in the 6th round. And now he was.
Yeah.
So I always say that too, Rover. I always agree with you on that. But
he was an average quarterback, and it could have just been his offense. It could have just been the offensive coordinator of Joe Brady, Justin Jefferson, Thaddeus Moss, Edwards-Helaire, and it could have just all worked for this 1 year. And he's very, very smart. Now, I'm not one of those guys, though, that is saying Joe Burrow is going to be absolutely awful. So I'm not going to be definitive in that opinion. I'm just not, because he has all the leadership qualities. He's very intelligent. You look at the quarterbacks now, even Gardner Minshew doesn't have a lot of, physical arm strength ability, and guys now can survive. They could survive in this league for a while.
I think as long as he's accurate, he will be able to survive. I think accuracy is a little more important. Arm strength is important. I'm not saying it's not, but accuracy is the most important. We've seen quarterbacks with weak arms in the NFL work out, like Kurt Warner. That's the guy I always bring up. Kurt Warner,
right?
Weak arm, but he was so accurate, deadly accuracy. He had the receivers. And if you look at Cincinnati, you may make the argument that their offense is going to be pretty good. They got T. Higgins, they got AJ Green, they have all these weapons on the receiving side. They got a running back in Joe Mixon who's pretty damn good too. So
Tyler Boyd.
Yeah, Tyler Boyd. They have John Ross. Like they have receivers to go for days. And
but their offensive line is still bad. Their head coach is unproven.
But if you remember last year, they took an offensive tackle. I think his name was Jonah Williams or something like that. And he didn't play at all last year because he got injured pretty quickly. So let's see. Maybe he can help with some of that offensive line. But I agree with you. The offensive line is not there yet.
Totally correct about Jonah Williams. Absolutely huge. It'll be fun. The NFL is in a very healthy space in terms of interest, in terms of these teams with young quarterbacks, even the Dolphins. So Mizzou asked a couple of good questions. He asked about Trey Lance out of North Dakota State. Guy's getting a ton of buzz right now. And also Sam Howell, quarterback of UNC. Have you watched these guys play? These are relatively newer quarterbacks on the college scene.
I'll be honest. I have not seen them play. I know that Trey Lance plays for, I think, North Dakota State or something like that.
Yeah, the Bison and Fargo.
As for the other guy, I really don't know because, like I said, I'm trying to get more into college.
Yeah, he's a freshman. He's very young. He's about 6 feet tall. I think he's going to be a very good college player. I don't think that Sam Howell is going to make a huge difference in the NFL. Put that on a video on a timestamp.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, you're right. There are quarterbacks like that just work in the college. When they come to the NFL,
Let me tell you about Trey Lance. He has a huge arm, but he also plays for the greatest team in the FCS, and he barely throws the ball, and a lot of it is quarterback run stuff. So in terms of quarterbacks at the college level, Kyle Trask out of Florida is a very intriguing quarterback. I would put Trask and Trevor Lawrence as my top two. Justin Fields is a fringe first rounder for me. He just has so much time. His offense is it's a lot of easy reads at Ohio State. So that's kind of Justin Fields.
Yeah. Trevor Lawrence is the one that I'm most excited for, obviously, as the quarterback position. I think I've been watching a lot of Clemson games last year. They were one of my favorite teams to watch, Rover. And I can't wait.
How good is Lawrence going to be in there?
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for him to be drafted. I wonder which team is going to be lucky enough to get him first overall.
He is so good. I mean, so let's talk about Lawrence. Okay, let's talk about what quarterbacks when Lawrence plays 3 years. What quarterbacks are going to be better than Trevor Lawrence?
Mm-hmm.
Let's list the quarterbacks that are better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah.
So who? Mahomes is better.
Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, probably.
I would not say that. I'm taking Lawrence.
Yeah, I guess, but it's so hard because he had such a great year last year. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I agree with you though. If defenses figure him out, then he won't be the same.
It could be Drew Lock, maybe, but I think Lawrence is easily the top 3 quarterback because Russell Wilson's going to get old too. I'd rather have Trevor Lawrence than Russell Wilson. I know this sounds crazy for a young kid, but
Russell Wilson has proven time and time that he could carry a team. I really love Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you're right. Wilson is pound for pound just fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, like Seattle really doesn't have much, and Russell Wilson carries that team.
Yeah, but Lawrence is top 3. He's right there.
Sure. I love Lawrence. I think he is a guy like an Andrew Luck, like all these guys that come out like. They say they're going to be good, and they go first overall, and they usually like spot on with it. Andrew Luck was that guy. Too bad he had injury issues, but I really think he would have won a Super Bowl for the Colts. I really believe he would have.
Yeah, and you know what? Like Sports Critic, you talk about Andrew Luck, and I mean those fans like this kind of a controversial take I took at the time, but like you're in Indianapolis, you're at a preseason game. And your franchise just blows up in like literally 2 minutes. You know, your star quarterback leaves, and you don't have time to like emotionally gather yourself that like this guy could have had CTE. This guy's a brilliant artist from Stanford. In the moment, you're at a football game on a Saturday, and they booed, And then people, you remember last year, a lot of people said Jacoby Brissett is going to be a quarterback that is going to be fine, and the Colts are going to be fine. They're not. Andrew Luck was the Colts.
Yeah, he was. He was.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I really like Luck.
How about Jacksonville? How about them winning the AFC South?
Wait, is that what you're going with?
It's a possibility. They have the easiest schedule. You have Josh Allen, K'Lavon Chase on. You have the defense there is just I love Jacksonville. They're an underdog team.
I wish that Jacksonville is going to be good, but I really don't see them being the team that wins that division. I'm sorry, Rover. I cannot agree with that one.
I don't like that division at all, though. I think Tennessee's overrated. Derrick Henry, running backs are never that good 2 years in a row. Houston is Houston. They're bizarre.
I love in that division, though, the Colts. I really do love that team. Now, I know Philip Rivers.
Damn Colts.
Let me tell you why I think the Colts will be good. Because they got Marlon Mack, and they also drafted Jonathan Taylor. He's one of the fastest running backs, and he's going to be pretty good there. They have T.Y. Hilton, Philip Rivers, and they have a pretty good offensive line. They also got DeForest Buckner from the 49ers. That's going to make a difference on the defense. I think the Colts are going to be one of the better teams. I agree with you on the Texans. I don't know how they're going to be because the whole
Colts are a little pretender-ish, you know. Oh, the Chargers, the Colts.
Yeah, but if you have an easy division, one of those teams is going to be the guys, right? And I think it's going to be the Colts. It's just how can Philip Rivers play well? That's the thing. Because last year he had a really bad offensive line. Now he's coming to, as you know, Colts. Everybody always counts them as one of the better. Actually, one of the best offensive lines of football. And that makes a big difference.
Who's going to be there at the end? Do you think Buffalo can be like possibly the final, like in the divisional round in the AFC?
Wait, say it again. I'm sorry.
The Buffalo Bills.
Buffalo Bills.
Will they be there at the end?
I have Buffalo Bills. I'm really high on the Bills with the AFC East. I think they're going to win it just because the other teams aren't that good. And I think that they're a lot better than the other teams.
Really? So the Patriots are not even a factor?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Patriots are probably second best team in that division. But what I'm saying is they have, if you look at them, they have the team. The Patriots is a question mark. Nobody knows what we're getting with the Patriots. We know we're getting a good defense, but we don't know what the quarterback's going to be. I know you're really high on the quarterback of the Patriots. Because he played for Auburn and he played good against some really good defenses like Alabama. He did well against. I know, I've heard this, and I'm not saying
he's a big time talent.
I'm not saying he can't be good or anything like that, but for me, he's a question mark. He's unknown. He hasn't played yet. But I know what I'm getting with Josh Allen. I know a lot of people don't like Josh Allen, because he's inaccurate. But I love the arm strength. I love the way he plays. They got him Stephon Diggs. I love the defense that the Bills have, and they just got AJ Espinosa in the second round, who's a first-round talent.
Yeah.
I really like how this team is, like, all around. They're well-balanced, I feel like. I feel like they're the most balanced team in that division. Now, I think you said that the Bills are going to win the division, so you're in agreement.
I like the Bills. You're right. I have so many Buffalo fans on here, and I am going to do Josh Allen film reviews. Got to. I mean, the fans of Buffalo are just crazy. It's Drew Lock. The quarterbacks I do film reviews on are Allen, Lock, Jimmy G are the three that I do quarterback reviews on. Yeah. Sean McDermott is a good coach, but I'm still have a lot of question marks about Sean McDermott. The way they handled the playoff game, and then here's the thing about the Bills, like Bills fans got mad, but they had the easiest schedule. So there is still a ton to prove. You got to take out the champ, the New England Patriots. Their defense is going to be really good. I think it's a one-game coin flip. I think it's going to come down to one game. Patriots definitely in the playoffs as a wild card. I'm going to say that.
I can see that, yeah.
And the Bills winning the division. Now we got Josh Allen or Drew Lock. I'll let you go first. Who are you taking?
Oh, this is so tough. You know why? Because Josh Allen has played more football, so I've seen more from him than Drew Lock. I only seen a few games of Drew Lock. I really like Drew Lock, and I really want to go with Drew Lock. I think Drew Lock has the better weapons, has the better team overall. I think the Broncos are going to be better than people think. I know last year you were really high on the Broncos. I don't know how high you are on them this year because they probably burned you.
I thought Flacco. So I thought it was Flacco, Eli Manning, baby.
I do like
Flacco and Eli.
You know what's funny about Drew Lock and Josh Allen? They're very similar. They both have big arms. They both need to work on their accuracy and all that.
They're doubted. They're hated by some. I think Allen's hated by some.
But see, Drew Lock, he has Sutton. He has Jerry Jeudy now that they drafted. They got Hamler. They did him a big favor by getting him all these weapons. But I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
You have one problem, but I'll let you finish.
Yeah, no, I'm going to go with Josh Allen for now because what I've seen from Josh Allen, he already took the Bills to the playoffs, which is pretty impressive. Who do you have between those two?
Yeah, long term, I am going Drew Lock because Drew Lock.
Yeah, long term, I could see that, but I need to see more, Rover. I can't.
And I'm worried about Shermer. You know, he's our we just crapped on Shermer, you know, for the first 10 minutes. He's a nice guy, but he's football coaching wise, the offense, it isn't that elaborate. The pressure of Drew Lock, too. Like you look at Baker Mayfield, he had Jarvis and Odell Beckham. Drew Lock now has Jerry Jeudy, who was a stud at Alabama. You have Hamler, who was a slot receiver, explosive player for the Penn State.
Yeah.
A lot is going to be asked of Drew Lock with this with you know, a defensive coach and Vic Fangio. A lot of pressure on Lock, but I still like Lock long term better than Josh Allen. And to tell you the truth, a really good question also from Poppy. I'll just call him Poppy Chad. Call him Poppy Chad. I agree with him that Tonga Vailoa is my favorite quarterback in the AFC East. I agree with him on that.
Oh, Tua, yeah.
Yes, Tua.
If he can stay healthy, yeah, I can definitely see him being the best. If he's healthy, yeah, he should be the best. Unless you say Stidham could be Rover. I know you love Stidham. I know you love.
I like all three, and then Sam Darnold has a lot, you know, to live up to. Stidham's good, you know. A lot of quarterbacks are in the middle. Like Stidham could maybe be a Kirk Cousins level of good.
Yeah.
So looking at this whole NFL, you know what? I'll ask you here. We got Amir, the sports critic here. I'll ask you some fantasy football. Who's some fantasy guys that you think are going to have some breakout season this year?
Kyler Murray is going to have a fantasy breakout. With DeAndre Hopkins, he has that and his weapons. He had a pretty good rookie season last year, and I didn't even mention. So he has DeAndre Hopkins. He's going to be running the ball too, like he did last year. I think he's going to have a better fantasy year this year than last year. So some people are right that he may have an MVP type season, but I think it's numbers wise. I don't know if it's the wins and the losses column because I have Arizona going 9-7 right now. That's one guy I like. There's a lot of people that you can say rise and fall, but it's all like, you know, prediction based. Is there anybody that you have in mind or anybody you would like to talk about?
I said Locke.
That's not a bad pick. Locke should have a better season than last year because he only played 4 or 5 games. And the amount of weapons, like you said, and they have Fant also. We forgot to talk about this guy. Noah Fant actually was playing kind of decent with him, kind of getting a rapport with him. And what do you know about rookie quarterbacks? They love, well, not rookie, but second-year quarterback. They love to throw to the tight end. That's always like their safety blanket. I think Fant will have a better year. So that Drew Lock should have a better year. Yeah, I think Drew Lock will be one of those guys that is much better than people think.
I like Murray. I like Kyler Murray. I don't even know if I like him better than Allen and Locke. Like Kyler Murray during the first half of the year just wasn't good. I mean, he looked small on the field. He did come on towards the end of the year.
Yeah.
And Christian Kirk and the rapport. He's an unbelievable competitor. He almost single-handedly beat the 49ers. I liked him going into the draft process. Would have been fine seeing him picked by the Giants. It's a great leader. I think he's a good quarterback as well. And fantasy-wise, Kyler, with the running ability, it does make sense. I'll tell you guys I'm picking in fantasy for Dynasty because that's the only kind of fantasy you can do. And fantasy football, I have to admit, like, even as a Giants fan, I think that CeeDee Lamb is going to be like a stud, like Des Bryant, like top 5 receiver for the next 10 years, like a Hall of Fame kind of career. I look at CeeDee Lamb as.
I mean, yeah, CeeDee Lamb was one of the best receivers in this draft, so I could definitely see that. Now, the only thing is, how will Dak Prescott and his chemistry be? Because Dak already loves throwing to Cooper, and he's got Gallup. It's a crowded, wide receiving core, but I think he will be good. And
yeah.
I hate to say it because I don't like the Cowboys.
Right. Of course. And then Josh Jacobs, like he's another guy. I think he's going to be a really good back.
I like Josh Jacobs last year, and he had a pretty good year last year, and he should go up.
And he just had so many carries. Jonathan Taylor from the Colts is what I said
that too. Jonathan Taylor is a guy I really like for fantasy reasons.
The whole Colts team, but I draft too many young players in fantasy. I think, especially you gotta draft some veterans.
I'll tell you what's good about young players and bad. So what's good about young players in fantasy is you can get them later on, and if they hit big, it's good. But then if you take a guy and then he doesn't work out, it can mess up your whole draft. So you got to make sure you take the rookie, and you got to make sure that rookie is starting. See, Jonathan Taylor is a good thing, but we don't know if he's the clear-cut starter because they still have Marlon Mack. And he may split carries. You want a running back like Saquon is a great pick in fantasy because he's going to be on the field most of the time. Yeah, Deion Lewis will get in, but he's not taking most of the reps.
Exactly.
I do a lot of fantasy football. I've won a lot of times, so I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this kind of stuff.
Yeah. I got to be in a league with the sports critic. We got to be in a league.
Moreover, I would really appreciate it if you do. It'd be so much fun.
Please, let's do a league together. Maybe the Giants community.
Yeah, we'll do that for sure.
Please, let's do it. And I want to go to a tailgate. I want to go to a Giants. I want to go to a couple Giants games this year.
If fans are allowed, I'll definitely go, and we can meet up and.
I'm taking the risk probably. I mean, maybe wear masks. Who knows if fans sit apart? I love that we have Monday night. I love it because then we can watch the whole NFL. And then it was better maybe when you went to high school because I loved Monday night in high school because then Mondays were just better. You know what I mean? Mondays were just better when you had Monday Night Football on. I love Monday Night Football.
Yes.
How about you?
No, I do too. I love Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football is amazing when they have a good matchup, and especially when the Giants get to play because Giants always get like a few. But I really want to. Brian Rogers says Dak, Goff, and Kirk and Baker are all overhated. I don't think they're overhated. I
thought he said overrated.
Yeah. He said overhated, and I get what he's saying, but I think that it's because people expect so much more from these quarterbacks, and a lot of them failed last year, except for Kirk. Kirk had a good year. Dak, Goff, and Baker all had bad years. So
yeah, Dak just put up kind of empty numbers.
Yeah, he put garbage time stats. He's a great fantasy quarterback. Like, he'll get you the numbers, but he don't get you the W at the end of the day. That's not important.
He's an all right quarterback.
He's okay.
He doesn't have a lot of talent. He doesn't. He can't throw the ball that far. He has good touch.
The one bad thing about him, I think, is he's too conservative with the football. He will throw it away instead of throwing it at all. And he needs to start taking a little more chances. People think that'll turn into interceptions. We'll see.
Back shoulder throws.
He needs to do more of those.
Yeah, I was rooting for the Cowboys to beat the Eagles, and he never would throw it down the field. That Cowboys defense too is disappointing because they have a lot of linebackers like Van Der Esch had. He wasn't nearly as effective. Jalen Smith. They have players. They never, though, are that threatening of a defense. They're never a suffocating elite level defense. And that's the problem with the Dallas Cowboys.
Yes.
That's basically the problem with the Dallas Cowboys.
Any problem with the Cowboys is great for me because I don't really like the Cowboys.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, I'm big on the Vikings this year.
Me too. I have them winning the division, actually.
Yes. How about going to the NFC Championship?
It's a possibility. I could definitely see it. It's just the thing is people talking about Kirk Cousins, but Kirk Cousins has a lot to work with. Now, I also wonder, do you think that the Dalvin Cook situation hurts them because he is holding out? Do you think he'll hold out for a long time, or do you think he'll come back?
I think he'll come back. I think Dalvin will come back, or that they might pay him. He has some leverage, but also Madison is a good player for the meantime. You look at running backs. I mean, James Conner came in. Austin Eckler was better than Melvin Gordon. Gordon even struggled a lot. The Vikings, it's all about their defense. I'm not worried about Diggs leaving. I think Jefferson.
No, I'm not worried. Jefferson could fit in perfect. I agree with you. Sorry, Robert.
Exactly. No, exactly. They still have this guy, a tight end from Alabama. He's with Kyle Rudolph, out there. He's a very talented player. He has two initials. Let's see if somebody can come up with the name. But Laquan Treadwell, I don't think Treadwell is there anymore.
No,
Irv Smith. Yes, Irv Smith Jr. That's exactly right. So Minnesota, and plus their draft was amazing. They dominated.
One of the best drafts in the whole thing. Yeah.
Amazing, because they got Dantzler. They have all these cornerbacks now. Mike Zimmer. Everybody's sleeping on Mike Zimmer. He's going to have a revival. Their offensive coordinator is Kubiak, who's a veteran. So Minnesota's perfect because the Packers are overrated. They're a garbage team.
Draft too. They had the worst draft, in my opinion.
Garbage team, overrated, quarterback's unhealthy. The Bears, you still have Trubisky, and it's weird there in Chicago. And then the Lions are the Lions. They're not ready yet.
I agree with you with the Chicago, but I think they are getting better. If Nick Foles can play well with them, I think Nick Foles knows that system. Like that guy runs a similar system with Andy Reid. But I agree with you that the Bears, I think, will be this. I think the Bears could potentially be the second best.
Nick Foles coming back.
Yeah, Nick Foles coming back in the NFC.
Yeah, so basically, you talked about Jared Goff. I was on the Jared Goff is not very good for a long time.
Me too. I've never really liked him that much.
Nah, no mobility, can't really throw the football. Baker Mayfield has a strong arm. Baker Mayfield has some talent.
He does.
You agree?
Baker Mayfield has the talent. But
big time talent.
I think the problem was Freddie Kitchens, and not only Freddie Kitchens, but the fact that this was their first year together. They didn't have the chemistry. I think this year they should have better chemistry. It should work out better. I also think they fixed a lot of that offensive line. People don't talk about this, but they got Conklin, who's going to be huge. They have Hooper, who's going to help them out in the tight end. Yes, they overpaid for him, but
Jedrick Wills.
Wills, too. Yeah, that's another guy that they got in the draft.
Baker's got to stop worrying about Odell Beckham, his statistics. If Odell's going to complain, you just got to move the ball. Who cares?
I'm not an Odell guy, and I'll tell you why. Over. Had him in fantasy last year. He screwed me over.
I thought you were going to go off on the tangent for the Giants. He was a distraction.
Oh, no, for the Giants, I was off of him once he started partying with Justin Bieber. That's when I really got off. I got off the train. I made a video about it. Rover, I made a video about it. I was really upset. And when he got traded, at first I was a little upset, but I was kind of happy when I saw what we got in return. So
why were you upset? I think that he unlocked the Giants by getting traded.
I was upset because Odell was a guy that I wanted to succeed in New York. I wanted him to be on the Giants. It's great to see a receiver in New York be so dynamic. We usually don't have dynamic receivers like him, even though he's a knucklehead. I want him to succeed. You always want young talent to succeed like that, and I wish he wasn't such a diva.
Yeah,
more mature, but he didn't. And once I realized that somebody is the way that they are, and we got a first, a third, and Jabril Peppers, I was happy then. I was like, oh, yeah, that's great.
Well, we knew we needed to move him out because he did these private interviews, and he wanted out of New York just as much for his career. I didn't like Beckham really at all, and then I gave him an opportunity. Then he insulted the team. He had that Carolina Panthers game where he did okay, but he is just way too distracting. Yeah. Now the return of Beckham, you get. I just wanted Beckham gone anyway. You get Peppers.
Yeah. The return.
Unfortunately, the Giants. Listen, they got to start winning though with these players that they got in return.
The funny thing is, Rover, when I first made the video about him getting traded, I was so happy when I saw the return, and I made the video about it, and people were attacking me like, "Oh, what are you talking about? That's nothing." But now when you look at all these other receivers getting traded for, like Deandre Hopkins, traded for nothing. Like, come on. Like, what? Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly 1,000,000% correct, man. But I just got slammed. If you ever go at Odell Beckham,
I got slammed on Odell a bunch.
Because
Wait, Robert, I'm sorry. You know Kid Blue, right?
Yes.
So Kid Blue, when the trade happened, he was furious. And I actually went on a hangout with him. And I was telling him, calm down, Rover. This is good. You will see. I'm not Rover, sorry. Kid Blue. You will see this in a few years. You will see that this will work out. I think he has completely changed his stance now on the trade that we wanted. But at that time, he didn't have anything to do with it. Kid Blue hated it, and I got to see if he still has that video, that live stream up.
Gotta talk. Now, Kid Blue has to come to you and confess.
Kid Blue and this other guy, Zach in the red zone, we had a whole panel, and they were so upset about the Odell Beckham. But like how you are, Rover, I don't get emotional right away. I like to think it through, and that's why it works. That's why the Daniel Jones thing worked, because you were calm about it. You looked at his highlights. I wish I did that more before, because I was kind of upset with it originally. I won't lie.
Of course, and people are it's fine. That's the part of that's part of sports, which is great. Is being emotional.
I mean, I get people loved Odell Beckham. Like a lot of people in New York really liked him, and they wanted him to succeed like me. But you got to realize that we got a lot. We were a
controversial figure. I looked at Odell, and he kind of threatened Eli Manning a little bit.
He put him under the bus. Who does that to Eli, right?
I don't know. It's just if you're old. Maybe it's just because I'm older, and I didn't grow up with a star receiver, social media.
The Giants never had that. We've never really had a star.
No, and I like playing in the mud, running the ball, really just
old school football, smash mouth football.
Old school, no cheerleaders at the football game.
No, it's just run.
And none of the stuff that the Jets do. No fireworks, none of that.
You remember, Robert, the scores used to be so much lower too. They're so much higher. They're always in the 20s. I remember when I was younger, they were always in the teens. Now defenses aren't as good, I guess, and there's a lot of rules to help the quarterback and all that.
It is.
Explosive games. But when I was younger, I remember, 13-10. That was a great game. People would be like, yeah, that's great.
RQ, how you doing? Thanks for coming in. Jeff in the zone. I think you were just talking about him, maybe.
Well, Jeff in the zone, welcome to
the show. So what I was gonna say about old school football, and that's the reason McAdoo failed with the Giants, because the Giants tried to be they panicked, and they're like, we need to be basketball on grass. We need to air it out. That's what the Evan Ingram pick is all about. Sterling Shepard. It's all about weapons. Eli Manning throwing for 5,000 yards and that whole thing. The Giants are kind of like the Steelers, or a Northeastern team in the cold. That's the style is just like a Blake Martinez style. It's that kind of football. And I'm fine with it. And I think that defenses could come back. And you saw it kind of last year in a lot of cases. Not everybody is Kansas City. Everybody wants to be Kansas City.
Yeah.
No one is Kansas City.
No, that's the thing. I agree with you, Rover, is that we need to make our thing structured by the players that we have. We have a great running back. We took second overall. We need to utilize him more. Even if we're not running with him, we should be passing him the ball, doing things like that. And I think we can succeed this way. And we need to work more on the defensive side, because last year our defense was one of the worst.
You need just some positivity. Gettleman needs some positivity. Yesterday, story came out, a little off the field story. It's just interesting, sports critic, that the Giants have had Josh Brown and Aldrick Rosas. It's like these kickers, they don't behave. It's unbelievable. And it's happened with the Giants.
Yeah, I was surprised about that story with Rosas. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
After last season, I wasn't that big of a fan of Rosas anyway. He had such a bad year last year. I was expecting
he was balling the year before.
Yeah,
Balling. And the team was so bad, you barely took notice. Colin Kaepernick, I think Kaepernick could play in the league. I think he's going to get an opportunity. I think the Ravens could be a spot, for Cap. A little mobility.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that Kaepernick is going to probably be back in the NFL.
I hope he does get a chance. I want to see what he can do. because he hasn't played in a while. So I wonder how he's going to be. You know?
I know it would be great, and even then preseason, you'd see him with the backups, and maybe he'll compete if the starter struggles. Mitchell Trubisky, everybody crapping on Mitch. So do you think Mitchell Trubisky? So you think he's getting replaced by Nick?
Oh
Foles?
yeah, I think it's good. They're going to say it's an open competition, but Nick Foles will be starter week 1. I'm not even worried about
week 1.
Yeah. I think Nick Foles is better than Trubisky. I think
Trubisky's gone. Yeah. I don't know about that.
I would be surprised if Trubisky starts over Nick Foles. You traded for this guy who's you're paying a lot of money to sit on the bench. It just doesn't add up to me.
I just think he's there to challenge.
Okay, I mean you can make that
number 2,
but you could have signed somebody else for less money to challenge him. And I think Nick Foles is supremely talented at times. He has moments, and you got to get his offensive scheme. And if this guy runs a very similar scheme with Andy Reid's scheme, I think it could work. I don't think Trubisky is going to work with the scheme. I don't know if it's Trubisky or the offensive scheme that's the problem. But
Nick is a big time. I like how Nick Foles takes chances with the ball. You know that?
I hate to say it, man. He was pretty good in that Super Bowl. He can play well just under the right system. That's all.
Exactly right. He needs to get the ball out. He's not a mobile quarterback. That's why he's not a long-term quarterback. He gets injured. His mobility's bad. He's inconsistent. And he can't stay healthy. And that's the thing about Foles when people, talk about his Foles a really good quarterback, and they compare Nick Foles to Eli and that they both beat Tom Brady. But Eli Manning, year after year, is the starter, a franchise 16-year starting quarterback. And Nick Foles is every year he's only playing 4 games a year, if that.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
So the sports critic, Amir, this was awesome. What do you have going right now in the summer months for the channel right now?
All right, now I'm just because there's not much going on, but I'm waiting for so what's going on is basketball is supposed to come back soon. So I'm going to cover some basketball, baseball. Whatever football news comes out, I'll always report it. I look forward to that. I've been playing a lot of I've just been chilling out with a lot of people, like just doing hangout streams and playing some games and talking sports, because that's always fun, talking with your subscribers. So right now, it's just that until we have, it's really hard to, and I'm pretty sure, Rover, you understand this too, it's really hard to be a sports channel when there's nothing going on, because I really like to call games and have breaking news and updates like that. So any updates that happen in the NFL that are big, I do cover those as well, or NBA or MLB or any of them. I try to cover most sports.
I like golf. I mean, PGA,
Yeah, I agree, but it's just like golf. I agree that you can find golf entertaining, but how would you call it? You just probably
You're right calling it. Now, so are you a 2K or a Madden guy? What do you think?
I like 2K better than Madden. I wish Madden was better. I really do.
I can't play defense in Madden. I hate it.
Yeah.
And I throw the ball a lot. I just love slants. I don't like running the ball in Madden. 2K is so interactive. You get up and down. And I agree. Even regular season basketball will be very interesting in this bubble situation.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're a Knicks guy. I'm kind of near the Sixers, so I talk a lot of Sixers.
I'm actually a Magic fan. That's my favorite basketball team.
Orlando.
Yeah, when I was younger, Shaquille O'Neal was my favorite player, and he was drafted by Orlando. And he went to LSU. We came full circle, Robert.
Amen. Absolutely. Penny and Shaq.
And Shaq, Nick Anderson.
How much fun was Michael Pietrus and yes, Dwight. Yeah. I was rooting for them to beat LeBron and the Cavs. I was rooting for
we did beat them once.
Courtney Lee. You guys, made the finals.
Yeah, we made the finals against the Lakers, and that's where I was really pissed. Because how many finals do the Lakers need? Come on, you could have just gave us one, Lakers. Come on, man.
And Van Gundy, Courtney Lee missing that layup.
Oh,
Van Gundy. And the Magic, that's a fun team because they're a very small team.
Yeah, they're getting better. Yeah.
Yeah, but they're just, unfortunately, they just can never take their development. There's something off with the Magic. We can even talk about this on another stream, but Jonathan Isaac, I want Isaac to be a stud,
but he got injured. That was the issue. But yeah, I agree. He's going to be pretty good, I think, when he comes back. He's one of my favorite young Magic players.
Yeah. Aaron Gordon is a guy I always wanted. Really succeed.
You're right, Aaron Gordon, man, I love him.
Aaron Gordon, you have Fournier. What's the the guy though? I don't like Mo Bamba. That's way too risky for my taste.
No, I think Mo Bamba was brought in for defense. I think that's all he's brought in for.
Yeah, but Markelle, if you get Fultz playing in the bubble,
did you see Fultz? He played really well against the Lakers, and we were able to beat them in that game. He scored 25 points. It was pretty amazing.
So they're in the 7th seed. They're going to be playing playoffs.
Yeah,
the Raptors. So it is a possibility. We got Amir, the sports critic. It was a lot of fun. We'll do this again soon, man, even during the summer months.
Yes, man. I hope you come on my channel again too. It was so much fun last time. And thank you again, Robert, for having me on this channel. Talking to you is just so much fun that this hour flew by. I didn't even realize it's been an hour. But
I really appreciate it. We got into a great rhythm. The comment section, of course, was fantastic. It was great. And everybody, look up the Sports Critic on YouTube. Please give this guy a subscription. Subscribe and watch his content. He's a great guy, Amir, and it's a fun channel, okay? So everybody here, what a great comment, too, to end the show. Of course, some positivity from Crimson. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. But he tuned in. He has an opinion on it. And he was a guy that was there, but everybody else, it was just a great time. Amir, the sports critic, we're gonna head out. Thanks, Amir.
Yeah.
Thanks, bud.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Take care. Good night, everybody.